All right, people, what is going on? All right. What is going on? Episode number 24 of the VF Cast. I am VF Baller, and I didn't think I was going to go this long with this podcast. I started doing this because I wanted to do more of a variety of gaming topics that was kind of outside of the First and Frame Rates podcast, because we mostly talked about sports gaming over there, and over here, like I said, I talk about more more broader topics when it comes to gaming. But I'm gonna resort back to sports gaming today, and the reason why um I'm going to do that, I'm going to tell you in a few. Now, there's a lot of gaming communities out there, and a lot of gaming communities from the Call of Duties, Battlefield, Fortnite, Overwatch, and there's a lot of different type of communities. Even the Halo community is rising up and doing, showing that that they're still around with Halo Infinite, which that game came out as a phenomenal game that I see so far. I haven't got around to playing it, but I will very shortly because I it looks really good. It looks really good. So it's good to see that. But one community that really do get a bad rap for the most part is the sports gaming community. No matter how you slice it, no matter if it's positive or negative, it always gets a bad rap when it comes to the sports gaming community. Reason why I think the sports gaming community found a lot of things to critique, and it's a very niche and tedious. And I mean, when I say tedious, it really is. It's a tedious uh, type of community because it's so many small details that go into so much that people say that this need to be worked on, that need to be worked on. And I'm not talking about the football gaming community, because the football gaming community is very it's all over the place because there's only one football game, NFL game. And you would think it'd be the opposite, that it wouldn't be all over the place, but it is because of that. Which that's another story for another day that I don't want to get into. But I will say that even in basketball, the soccer, hockey, golf, all those sports gaming communities are kind of like all over the place. You may find some solemn within golf, because I've met a lot of people throughout the golf gaming community for various reasons, and those guys are pretty cool. Um, for the most part, the MLB, the baseball gaming community is okay as well. But when you look at basketball and football, those two are the ones that are all over the place, and I'm not kidding when I say that. So much pointed towards simulation and not just playing the games. And I get it. Some of the games aren't as high quality as you want them to be, but at the same time, you can have fun with any of these games you play. And I've been saying this for a long time. You can have fun with any of these games. It's just up to you to make that happen. And this is one of the reasons why I want to talk about this particular topic. The best sports gaming community, hands down, and it is not even close. And it started with a couple of guys, and I'm going to give them their props. The NLC and the NLSC community. Those guys, as far as basketball, has done a phenomenal job as into resurrecting a community themselves. And I'm gonna give you some examples of what they've done and how it's affected me in my sports gaming, because it's done wonders for me. And like I said, I'll get into that. When I first started getting into YouTube and I started looking at gaming, in general, my love is my first love is football. I mean, I'm not called VF baller just to be called that. VF baller stands for virtual footballer, and I've been playing football games, Jesus Christ, probably since I think my fondest memory of playing was like 10 Yard Fight on the NES. I mean, I remember playing Tecmo Bowl. Even on the Atari 2600, I played. There was a football game on there. I tried to play. Um, oh goodness, I'll go back since the 80s playing football games, so I know a little bit about it. But ever since this whole thing about simulation and this, that, and the third when it comes to football games, I kind of took a step back of following that community and just playing the games. And I mean, that doesn't mean I'm like sitting here playing Madden 24/7, because I'm not. but I do find enjoyment in the game, but it's really in small spurts. So therefore, I'll probably play like maybe one game a week or one game every other week. I just don't find the passion in it anymore. But like I said, the NLSC community, those guys over there, D for three, Andrew, um, Andrew Bagley. Those guys have created a small sector of the basketball gaming community that has taken on a life of its own, and it's bringing people together to celebrate and enjoy and play video games. Now, I will say this: this is something that is needed in all aspects of sports gaming or just in gaming in general. When people come together, and yeah, there's going to be some negativity there because they talk about the negative sides of basketball gaming and playing basketball games, but at the end of the day, it's all about a collective group of games or a collective group of guys celebrating playing basketball. And for me, I'm a football gamer. You see, I have the helmets right here. I have plenty. I mean, my God, the football games I have on these shelves, I have probably maybe about 50. Probably about out of all the stuff, I have probably about 50 of 45 football games. That goes from all the way from the NES up to the PS4, and I'm not even talking about the digital games I have, like the digital version of Madden or the digital version of NCAA football I have on my PS3, PS4, Xbox Series. I live football gaming. I do. I love all other genres for the most part, but I love football gaming. And I mean, I just had a new pickup the other day, and I just picked up another football game that I didn't have, believe it or not. But these guys at NLSC, I think I'm saying that right. NLSC or NLCS. I get it all backwards, but these guys, I like to give people flowers when they're here. I don't like to wait until something happens to say, "Oh man, they're the greatest." No, I recommend you guys because I don't do the basketball stuff. I listen to these guys religiously. Go listen to their podcast, listen to what they're saying, follow them on Twitter, YouTube, whatever the case may be, and listen to what they have phenomenal insight on these basketball games. Like every time you listen to them, it's like going back in time, and also tying the present together to where you can celebrate, basketball gaming, find the good and the bad in those games that they talk about. And they talk about all the games. I mean, they talk about stuff all the way back from double dribble up into NBA 2K22 and everything in between. And in the top tens that they do every Friday, Saturday, I take a part in them because I celebrate the joy of playing basketball games. And like I said, it put a big emphasis on my gaming and gave me it could put a different perspective of game in my gaming because now I celebrate the other games just like I do this one. I mean this genre. And I mean those guys, I mean they do a phenomenal job at what they do. I cannot thank those guys enough for what they do. And what it does for me is like now I'm more interested in playing, basketball games. And I'm more interested to see what those games had to offer. It gives me more insight on, and they do this as well. They give you kind of an insight of what developers were possibly thinking, but from a gamer's point of view of what are in these games. Like, look, I haven't showed this yet because this is going to be on my pickups channel or pickup video that's going to be up later on this week. This is one of the games I got on my pickups video. This is one of the games I picked up. Fox Sports College Hoops 99 for the N64. I got that game because I am interested in what this game entails. And I'm looking at it through the lens of me getting knowledge from the NLSE podcast. I mean, those guys have influenced me big time on my gaming and the way I want to game as far as basketball is concerned. And in some cases, regular games. Because now I give it more of an appreciation even with the flaws in some of these games, and like, okay, this game is terrible, but why is terrible, or why this game compared to how did this game compare to the other ones? It kind of gives me the sense of what it kind of gives me a sense of what I wish the football community, the football gaming community would be, because those guys over there, and I hate to say it this in a bad way, and I hope it don't come off this way. It gives me a sense of like they're more critiquing the games instead of celebrating the games. Like uh there's no reason to go back and enjoy the older games, even if Madden is not doing what they do. If Madden's not the game, if the Madden's not hitting on anything, and I know from me, from my perspective, I think even though I take that approach as well, I think that approach has pushed off on other people who watch and listen to my content or follow me on Twitter, because now I've heard of people, oh, I bought an original Xbox to play the old Maddens from the original Xbox PS2 days, or I still play those games because they're awesome, or I go back and play NCAA 14 because not only is the last football game that was college that was put out, I thoroughly enjoy it. Because I mean, even if Madden's not the game for you, there's no reason to just stop playing football games. And I think this is what these guys at NLSC have done. Just because NBA 2K22 is not there for them, and I know they've had their opinions on NBA 2K22, and they've said that, hey, NBA 2K22 is not really what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go play Live 06, or I'm gonna play Live 10, or I'm gonna play, NBA 2K, 14 or 17, or I'm gonna just play a game from the NES days or Super Nintendo, or play NBA Jam on the 360. They find ways to enjoy the sport and not too much worry about why the new game is the way it is. And I think that's, when you actually, I believe in, when you actually love the sport, you will find ways to find enjoyment out of the sport through your gaming if you're a gamer. That's just like for me. I'm not really big on Madden 22. I play it every now and then, but you best believe I'm always playing Madden 08. I'm always playing NCAA 08. Those are like probably like my favorite football games of all time. And sometimes I even go back to still play NFL 2K5. All Pro Football 2K8. I just did a video not too long ago how many football games you could play throughout a dynasty or franchise mode and have tons of fun. And none of it really talked about none of the current games from the PS4, PS5 era. Because I feel at the end of the day, you can find enjoyment, and these guys displayed it, perfectly. They do a phenomenal job. They did podcasts up every Sunday. They do the top 10 every Friday or Saturday. I highly recommend following them. And I don't think if I have already, but if you would like to, the link is down in the description. You can find their Twitter handles, NLSE. I have Andrew's Twitter handle. I also have on D4Three's Twitter handle. I think they have some YouTube channels. I don't really know if they do. I'm be honest. They probably do. If they do, all that stuff will be down either in the description or in the pinned comment. I'll pin it in the comment section for you guys to check those guys out. I mean, they do phenomenal work, and I just can't. I'll say, just for the life of me, I don't understand why other people just don't take heed to that and try to find their way as far as enjoying these games. I mean, personally, it's given me a new life on gaming in general, not just when it comes to just basketball games. I find it really cool that there's a group of people out here celebrating the sport, not just having an opinion about a game and constantly saying, hey, this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed. Look, even though these guys know that these things need to be fixed, you know what they do? They still play the games for what they are. They understand what it is. And like, if the game is too much of a hassle to where you constantly have to try to dodge the flaws of the game, before you have to do that, you would just, they'll play something else. So therefore, if NBA 2K 21, 22, if it's just so many things as out there to the point where you can't enjoy yourself, they go play something else. And not only that they go play another basketball game, they put it on display. They celebrate it. They say, hey, look at this. This game has what I want for this. I'm gonna go to this game. This game has what I want for that. And it's an enjoyable time. And I think, like I said, I think this is the thing that we are missing when it comes to sports games. I mean, I can say it all across, but I think NLSE uh, is a small segment of the totality of the basketball gaming community. But those guys, I feel like they've created their own community, and it's the best community hands down. That's just my personal opinion. And I wanted to do an episode of the VF Cast to let you guys know and let those guys know that they've done a phenomenal job of putting this together. And I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm a football gamer at heart. Anybody could tell you. If you know anything about my content from back in the day and what I put on Twitter, I talk about football all the time. I love football. But these guys got me loving basketball just as much and love playing the games just as much. And when you've done something like that, you really have something with your content. Salute those guys over there at NLSC. Andrew, D for 3, you guys are awesome. And I'll continue to support in whatever you're doing when it comes to this basketball community. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. And that's pretty much what I have to say for this episode. I always try to put these episodes between 15 to 25 minutes. Every now and then I may go over 30 minutes. Depends on the situation. But I just wanted to keep this episode short and sweet for you guys. Shout out to NLSE Podcast. Shout out to those guys. You guys are awesome. I really mean that. Well, I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you guys take heed. Check out all the links I have in the description or the pinned comment. You guys will not be disappointed. Great content over there for those guys. And it just inspired me to play more basketball games and enjoy this gaming. All right, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Like, subscribe, and share this video to others. Let people know what I'm doing over here. Let what NLSC is doing over there. Those guys making great content. All right, y'all. I talked enough. You guys be easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.